We got really lucky.
This is King 5 Mornings.
In a second, but first, we got to talk about something really important. This week, Governor Inslee accelerated the passing of the latest version of the distracted driving law.
Yeah, this is really interesting here. So we've got Jennifer Cannon-Unione to talk about some of the new changes. Thank you so much. You are a trial attorney, by the way, if anyone wants to know, at the law firm of Dixon and Cannon. So just FYI. But you know, this wasn't supposed to take in effect, right, until like 2019. So.
2019, yeah. So this is really big. If you are a driver on a Washington road and you have a cell phone or similar device, you are going to be impacted by this law.
That's everybody.
That pretty much is, yeah, any drivers. So you have the legislature that passed this law, distracted driving law, but it wasn't supposed to take effect for another 2 years, and that was a result of compromise. And part of the concern was you got to let the public be educated on this.
Right.
So this week, though, Governor Inslee signed the bill, but vetoed the 2-year start date. So we've got this law that is coming into effect in July.
So it's like whiplash for drivers in a sense. If you know, can you tell us a little bit more about the law? I know we've talked about it kind of in broad terms, but what does it mean? No cell phone? Is it like you got to throw it in the back seat?
Yeah, well, and so it's a huge change. So, because remember, before we had the text. You couldn't text or you couldn't hold that phone up to your ear. So you've probably all seen the people in the car holding the phone.
Sure, yeah.
Driving the car. You can't do that anymore.
Right.
You really can't hold a cell phone in your hand anymore. So driving for the purposes of this law is anything anytime you're on a public roadway. It doesn't matter if you're stopped for a stoplight or you're stopped for traffic, you can pull safely over. And it's any kind of electronic device now too. It's not just your cell phone. If you can have a wireless communication, or if it's any kind of electronic retrieval data device, it's going to fall under
anything
this.
interactive.
So your laptop, your iPad, a game device that you might give to your kids and they don't know how to work it, you can't pick it up. You
and
cannot
say, hey,
hold
let me
it.
help you with that. Oh my goodness.
Exactly. You just can't hold it at all.
So the other thing that's really concerning is that you said this is reportable.
Yeah, so that's huge. The old law was not reportable. It was a primary offense. So we're talking about an infraction, not a crime. But now an insurance company supported this. Not only are you going to have to pay a fine, as you were saying earlier, not only are you going to have to pay a fine for the infraction itself, but you're actually going to get it reported to the insurance companies, and you can probably bet that your insurance rates are going to raise. So the real important thing, though, about this, in addition to not being able to hold the phone, if you've got it on a dashboard, which a lot of people do have, you can't navigate anything on the dashboard. So you can't even dial a number anymore. You can quickly activate, but you can't dial a number, you can't check your Facebook, you can't check your emails, you can't surf the internet, you can't do any of that anymore under the new law, which is going to take effect in July.
Wow, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say some of that makes sense, right? But in Seattle, you're sitting in traffic for like an hour. So, you know, it's very easy to like maybe update something on your phone, or like if you're using maps, you know, to kind of change things and get it.
Or check Facebook, let's be real. I mean,
I mean, a lot of people do that too.
Somebody has done that in traffic at some point.
Yes, of course. So be careful now. The other really important part of this law is there's this catch-all part, which applies to anything that could be considered dangerously distracting to your driving. So any kind of activity, and it doesn't say anything specifically. So it could be putting your makeup on.
What about eating a cheeseburger?
It could be eating a cheeseburger.
No, come on.
It could be talking and you're distracted. So an officer can't pull you over. It's not a primary offense. He can't pull you over. But if he's pulled you over for some other legitimate reason, then he could cite you for an activity that you're doing that he believes is dangerously distracting to your driving.
That seems a little bit gray area to me, Jennifer.
Very, very. It is vague, and again, it's not a primary offense. It's not something he can pull you over, but just beware if you're putting your makeup on at that stoplight and the officer has some other reason to pull you over, he could also cite you for an activity that is dangerously distracting to your driving.
Wow. This has been so enlightening as always. Thank you for coming on and educating us and warning us about the dangers of distracted driving. And we'll be right back.
Change.